Good evening, televiewers. You are welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime TV. We are very sorry for the late start, and because of some technical issues, we thank God we are live, and we're going to use the available time to discuss what was planned for tonight, which is what is on the lips of every Cameroonian. We're talking about the newly created position of a vice president in Cameroon, as voted by members of our National Assembly and senators. It is no longer rumor, it is a fact. And tonight we're going to be looking at this topic captioned Cameroon's new vice presidency, genuine reform or political strategy, is going to be our topic for tonight. And we are discussing this with two panelists who are with me in the studio. They had to also battle it very, very hard with traffic to get to our studio. Barrister Akwen is here tonight to discuss on this topic. Good evening, Barrister. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm glad to be here today. Trust you had a happy weekend and a great Easter day. Hoping that today is we are celebrating the aftermath of Easter, that Christ resurrected, that a lot of issues that were inside the tomb should equally resurrect with Cameroonians. I am glad to meet my co-panelists on this panel today for the first time. Good to meet you, and to our fellow viewers, we just hope you have the best of the evening.
We also are going to be discussing with Dr. Barrister Asson Michael, who attempted to run for Cameroon's presidency. The hope is still alive. We hope that next time he's going to join the presidential race. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Kun. It's a privilege for me once more to be on your show. My heart goes to all those Cameroonians that are dealing with all the difficulties that we face each day, particularly the traffic that is in Douala, very heavy traffic, and the pollution. My heart also goes to Jacques Bertrand Mang, the member of the UPP party who was actually arrested on Friday, and who was being brutalized by the special unit of the Commissariat of New Bell too, and who actually is being hospitalized at the mental health unit of the Hôpital Akentini. So once more, good evening to everyone. Good evening to my co-panelists. It's what a privilege to meet you on the show, Senior Barrister. And good evening to all our viewers in Cameroon and around the world.
Okay, we are discussing about the newly created position of Vice President in Cameroon. The question I'll ask you, Barrister, first is, do we badly need this position given the current context in Cameroon today?
There goes the question, Mr. Kun. Do we actually need the post of the Vice President in Cameroon? How many state institutions do we have that sit on the helm of protocol in this nation? We have the Senate, we have the National Assembly, we have the Prime Ministry, we have the Economic and Social Council, we have, is it the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, which of them? Those are already institutions that have been existing prior to last week, where Cameroonians got up, and I'm sure they were embarrassed with a bill. Yes, because that should be an embarrassment with a bill of a post that is coming to add nothing to the life of an average Cameroonian. Do we really need the post of the Vice Minister? That is the big question.
The Vice President.
Of the Vice President. That's why I don't even understand it. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't even understand. What do we need it for? That we have to go through a process, putting two houses together to form a Congress, to come out with a constitutional amendment to increase a post that is not needed. Mr. Liu, let's do a retrospection. When President Biya came to power in 1982, he was a prime minister under Ahijo. But when he came, he suspended the post of the prime minister, and he ruled until 1990, when he appointed Sadou Ayatou as the first prime minister under his regime. Soon thereafter, when Mr. Fonde launched the SDF, because of political strategy, he had to lay aside Sadou Ayatou to raise up Mr. Chidi Achu, because these were two brothers. because Baba and Bafochu, these are two brothers coming from Santas, the same subdivision. In fact, they're the same neighbors. To counteract the other person when SDF was already gaining steam. That made some sense that it was a political strategy. Thereafter, they created the Senate, and then they put the Senate to be after the presidency. And by the same constitution that was revised, they stipulated that the president of the Senate, in case of vacancy of the president, he will take the presidency and organize elections within 90 days. That one made some sense at that time, either because the constitution did not actually define it when the post of the prime minister was eliminated, was suspended. Because when he appointed Sado Ayatu, he did not give Sado Ayatu the same privileges that he enjoyed during his reign as prime minister in the days of Ahiju. Today, we have the Senate president, we have the prime minister, we have institutions are meant to take care of vacancy once the president is not there. What is the vice president coming now to act or to subtract? What is he coming to lift up? Because that decision, put it even as a political decision, Mr. Liu, put it as a political decision. What is what geopolitical problem is that particular office coming to solve? If we have to look at it as a political strategy, what geopolitical problem is that particular office coming to solve? Because the Senate was supposed to handle that, but Cameroonians were crying that the president, the president of the Senate, Mr. Panya Jifenji, was already advanced in age and could not have the capacity, the physical, the mental capacity to handle the post of the president in case of vacancy. Okay, 2 weeks ago, that particular issue or worry was addressed, and they put in young blood, both in the upper house and in the lower house. 2 weeks later, they are convening Congress to sit to appoint somebody for a post. Amend the whole constitution. We should have been talking about amending the constitution to reduce the tenure of the presidency if they wanted democracy. If that is politics, that they wanted to balance democracy, from 7 years to 5 years, make it 2 years renewable once, and after 10 years you have exhausted, you just go to your village and enjoy your retirement in peace and wait for the day your ancestors will call you. But no, they want to create another nomenclature. What economic problem is it coming to solve? We are late today because we took hours. I left my office at 5:30. That is the time I leave. Each time I come to the studio, I leave my office at 5:30 so that I can drive smoothly, come here, have some time. We have a chat, or you just enjoy the environment to take our program at 7 p.m. We have been prompt with time. Today we are starting the program at 7:55. Because of the traffic on the road. So what is that post coming to solve? That is the question I am asking. If they have to solve an economic problem, which economic problem? On the contrary, it is going to create an economic leakage, because creating the office of the president means that you have to give him a structure, you have to erect a bureau, a cabinet, you have to start to give him a house, and then you give him all the benefits attached to that position, and then you have to give him a car, and all of those, you have to appoint his own secretary general, you appoint his own cabinet members, and all of that. At the coffers, when Cameroon is on its knees economically, what social problem is it going to handle? That the other institution, the Senate did not handle, the National Assembly have not handled, the Prime Minister have not handled. What is it going to handle? It is justly, you see, it is those kind of vexatious kind of bills. And then you see people that you think that they have some sense. Unfortunately, I may be sarcastic, but that is it. The only person who said something that makes sense there was the member of the Senate. It is Rene Zengeli. We don't need it. And you see, that is the next senior person, is the doyen of the Senate. We don't need the post of the vice minister. But nobody heard him. He is not talking like he is talking, that is wisdom speaking per his age. Mm-hmm. That is wisdom speaking. Okay.
That's wisdom speaking.
Yes.
But Dr. Barrister, you have also made so many outings, especially before this bill was voted. And are you very impressed with our MPs, knowing that they are working in the interest of our Cameroonians? At all, we all know that they are the representatives of other people.
Well, Mr. Lawyer, you know, the bill is a complete political disaster.
Okay.
It's a complete political disaster for Cameroon because normally the politicians which were being elected by the people who are sovereign are supposed to serve the interest of the nation and not their personal interests. Article 15 of the Constitution is very clear. An elected member of the parliament serves the nation and not his political party. So, of course, we are expecting, or we expected the members of the parliament and particularly the members of the National Assembly to know that they being in that position, they have to serve the interest of the people and not the interest of an individual. Yeah, we are clearly seeing that the MPs are clearly serving the interest of one person, and that is the President of the Republic of Cameroon. Now, what we need to know is that the President of the Republic of Cameroon, President Biya, incarnates a system that did not start today. He incarnates a colonial system that started even during the colonial era, which was being transmitted to President Ahidjo, who did everything to kill democracy. Because you know, when the French Cameroons had their independence on the 1st of January 1960, negotiations were being done between President Ahidjo and then Prime Minister Foncha of the Southern Cameroons, so that there should be a reunification of the Cameroons to form a federal state. And of course, that was being achieved through the elections, the referendum that took place on the 11th of February 1961, in which both brothers voted to reunify. And of course, they obtained their the formation of the federal state of Cameroon on the 1st of October 1961. But Ahidjo, in his agenda of assimilation, just like the colonial master did, the French colonial master did everything to suppress democracy. Because at the time, from 1961 to 1972, where we had the federal state with the president, the vice president, and the two federal federated states, there was no issue. I think that is one of the most interesting and the most prosperous eras in the history of Cameroon. We had of no problem. But suddenly, after 1972, we began to see the issues with the coming of the unitary state. And that was what was being transmitted to Biya. You see the name of the Federal Republic of Cameroon changed to the Republic of Cameroon.
United Republic?
Yes, it changed to United Republic of Cameroon. Then it came back to the Republic of Cameroon, which was the title the French Cameroon had at their independence. So realize that there is this assimilation, and it's a particular system that is being put in place so that the colonial master and a group of people in Cameroon who are now controlling the power and serving Biya, they want to consolidate it. So the bill of the vice presidency comes as a bill which would actually destroy the republican nature of Cameroon. That will actually destroy democracy. And why do I say it destroys democracy? You know, Articles 63 and 64 provides the mechanisms, the procedures through which a constitution or our constitution can be amended. Article 63 talks about our constitution. To amend the constitution, it has to be initiated by the President of the Republic, or the President of the National Assembly, or the Senate, or a member who initiates it and obtains a third of the votes of the members of the National Assembly. And Article 64 provides that certain dispositions of the constitution or certain principles cannot be amended. For example, any amendments that have to revise or change the form of the state cannot be amended in the constitution. Any amendments that will have to do with the principles of unity cannot be amended. Any amendments that will have to do with issues of territoriality, like giving part of our territory to another country, cannot be amended. And finally, the principles of democracy. Now, I'll be insisting on the principles of democracy because that is what this bill is actually destroying. The principles of democracy simply warrants that the people elect their leaders. And we know that we have 3 main organs, but our constitution actually talks about 2, the executive and the legislative. But somehow we can also add the judiciary, but we don't even really need to add it because the President of the Republic is still the head of the higher judicial council. So automatically we have 2 main institutions, the executive and the legislative, in which the leaders at the top of these organs must be elected by the people. Now, the executive is being led by the President of the Republic, and that's why the President of the Republic is being elected by the people, and so are the members of Parliament. Now, the creation of the Vice Presidency, which would mean that the President of the Republic will appoint a Vice President, and we all know why a Vice President is being appointed. It's because our President, being 93 years of age, of course, it's very natural that at that age he shouldn't be able to carry out certain activities, and that is the reason why they are creating this post, so that the Vice President will be used to compensate the loopholes which the President of the Republic has actually, which we certainly believe, in quotes, for most, that he is incapacitated in one way or the other, and naturally vacancy should be raised according to Article 6. But unfortunately, we have this bill which will create the Vice Presidency. Now, it's worth noting that in other countries where you have the Vice Presidency, most of the time before elections, the presidential candidate proposes his running mate, who is the vice president, and they all go for elections together, so that when he wins, everybody knows that this is the vice president, and everybody agrees with the president that, okay, in a case of incapacitation, in a case where he is no more there, or he is dead, or he resigns, the vice president is going to take over. That is not the case in Cameroon. In Cameroon, they are staging a constitutional coup. They are staging a legislative coup where they want to impose on us a new president, because they are sure, they know that President Biya cannot handle the states of this country till 2032.
Yes, but let's look at the position. What we are talking about is a reality. How does this new position fit within Cameroon's current political and constitutional framework?
The presence or the absence of that particular post affects nothing.
Okay.
Does it affect anything? But just like my colleague on the other side was
when
saying,
you say it affects nothing, are we not the same persons who cry for all the time that we don't see the president here and there? Isn't this an opportunity for him to have
that
an assistant
provision
represent him when he's not available?
That provision was already in the old constitution, that the Senate was going, the president was going.
Yeah, we're
to
talking about representation. The president may not be able to be everywhere in the nation.
The president has all the unfettered powers to appoint whoever to carry on with his mandate. Is that not what he has been doing for the past years? He has been doing that. That is why you will see in Rome, when the Pope was being the inaugural service of the Pope, it was the Minister of Territorial Administration. In Japan, when the head of states were meeting, it was the Prime Minister. Recently in Central Africa, it has been the Prime Minister. In London, it has been the Prime Minister. During the sitting of the UN, he sent representatives. Is that not the same thing that he has been doing? He has the unfettered power. So like I said, just like my colleague was saying, they are just preparing, in fact, the coup d'etat to impose their own candidate on us, knowing fully well that he cannot execute his task within this 7 years mandate. But the question is it necessary? Is that what we need at this point in time? Why? In fact, he took over a throne that was peacefully given to him, handed to him in a platter. Go ahead, I can no longer. For health reasons, Ahijo said, I can no longer manage this. You take it and manage it. And it was constitutional. Why can't he, in simple terms, have handed power to to whoever he thinks, oh, that was defined by his constitution, because he has amended the constitution to replace those people at the Senate that we said they were unable to handle the affairs of the nation, because all of them were graciously advancing in age together. So now that they did the replacements, they did re-elections, and we have younger, vibrant people, why did they not just maintain that stand? And why did he not keep his errand boys, continue to use his errand boys, rather than creating a political office and an economic draining office and a socially, how do I describe it? Because the common man does not benefit from everything, and then you come, it creates a social nuance. Because if you look at what the politicians nowadays, who is he going to? The Anglophones are saying, oh, it has to be us. The middle belts, they are saying, no, it has to still be them. The Northerners, oh, the Northerners now don't care because they already have the Senate. The Bamilekes, they don't care, they have the Parliament. So socially, you put people into antagonizing people because their speculations now are high. Not because they are coming in to serve, but because they are coming in for their personal gains. So do you take a country and turn it into something that it is a people-pleasing thing, and then you put a constitution there that power belongs to the people, and sovereignty it belongs to the people, and all of constitution that remains a slogan, because you can only call that a slogan. It can be just changed at any time at your will. What about the referendum that is supposed? Because my colleague says the parliament, they represent the people. Have they sent their parliamentarians out to go back to their constituency and put back this bill to them and say this is what is intended? What do you think?
The parliamentarians speak on behalf of the people voted them there.
No, no. If you follow party discipline, every constituency, they impose who becomes the member of parliament for that particular constituency. It is not what even the members of the same party they want. They choose who they want according to the whims and caprices, according to how stoogy that kind of person will be to them. Legally, what is it coming to say? What is it? What legal reform has that created? Nothing. So you see that it is just a loud sounding nothing. In fact, when you call it a political coup d'etat, and that it is nothing short of it, then they will say, lawyers, we are talking, we are bad mouthing, they are being sarcastic. Let them tell us what it is. To impose whose vice president will come, and then you tell him to lift chair. Look at what Smulo Sambia is doing in Tanzania. Was it not constitutionally they rotate Tanganyika and Zanzibar? Pombe Magufuli was from Tanganyika. Samalia Sumu was from Zanzibar. He had to finish, when Magufuli passed away, he had to finish the mandate. You see what he did? He jailed all his political opponents. Even when youths were dying, she didn't care. But that was the vice president that Magufuli appointed and trusted. So if President has to appoint, how are we sure? Same scenario, because that is Africa. So I don't even know whether Africa is cursed. Same scenario in Tanzania. It's going to happen here. And that is like what it is happening in Equatorial Guinea. So it is like a mindset borrowed from colonial. But colonial masters, they had their limits. There are some things that they did not impose. They have not come and held the neck of anybody that created the post of the vice president. I don't think so.
No, they did. The UN proposed it.
It's a proposal. You take it, you leave it. You study it. It is not lofty for my country at this time. We don't need it because our constitution provides this, that. So in case of my vacancy, this one will take over. So instead of me taking a vice president, I will rather cause a change in the two houses so that younger people, vibrant people, they take over so that they can pilot the affairs. I have a vibrant and dynamic prime minister who can attend all of these missions. He is a diplomat. He is yes, he's a diplomat. He has managed international relations.
Let's look at this issue. there is going to be a vice president and the prime minister who remains the head of government. Yes, will the vice president have real decision-making powers, or will it mostly be ceremonial? Because when you read through the bill, they say the president of the republic is going to appoint, the vice president is also going to appoint the prime minister, and it is not saying that he will delegate, it says may delegate some powers to the prime minister, no, to the vice president first, and then to the prime minister and other top officials.
Well, this is the way I look at it. The vice president is already the president.
Okay.
Because we know the reason why they are creating the vice presidency. It's because they know that the president is not able to carry out his responsibilities, his duties as the president of the republic.
Yeah, but at the inaugural ceremony, the president said that the government was going to work to create new positions to effect efficiency in the government apparatus. Maybe he may have noticed that things were not working well and he needs somebody. Remember that we have had this confusion where others are coming from. We're talking about haute instruction, very high instructions. The prime minister thinks that they should take some decisions, Secretary General at the presidency. Maybe these are some of the calculations. Let me put someone who effectively manage these issues.
Well, I don't want to look at it in that aspect, because a vice president for me is like a mini president.
Okay.
So the role of the vice president is to replace the president. I think that is the idea. That is the idea behind the creation of the vice president.
And not to assist him?
No, it's actually for him to do everything. Because at the end of the day, if right now, as we have it, what has to be done by the president is being done by the ministers and the prime ministers, then of course it means that when that position will be created, the vice president will just do everything, official ceremonies and the rest. He is the one that is going to represent the president of the republic. Considering the fact that the president of the republic, 93 years old, it will be very difficult for him to carry out a lot of activities regarding the state. So I believe that the vice president will come and play all of that. And I know that if the vice president, might be if his son is appointed, because I think that is what they want to do. They want to appoint his son. Those are just speculations. No, you know, I've been speculating all of these things since 2 months ago. And I've been saying that this is what they want to do. They want to create this position because they want a succession mechanism to replace Biya. And people actually did not care about it till we had it today. And most of our politicians were reacting very late. And it's the same thing I'm saying today, that if we don't take action and say now that we don't want this post of the vice president of the republic, his son, Frank Biya, will be appointed, because that is what has been happening in all other Central African states.
Now these are just speculations.
No, you know they are political analysts, and a good politician should be able to speculate on the future and foresee. So when you're able to do that, you can take dispositions, you can take measures now to be able to prevent that. Okay. We won't want to continue again with any Biya ruling this country, to continue in the same system that has kept us under bondage for 40 years. Yeah. And we have to continue again.
Is it by declaration or using the democratic principles? You may become a president using the route of elections, or what has just happened?
No, what
through the elected representatives of the people.
What we are trying to say is that this bill is illegal. This bill is illegal, and we have to be clear on that, and that for two reasons. The first reason is that the mandate of the members of the National Assembly now is illegitimate, because according to Article 15, subsection 4 of the Constitution, after an extension of the period of the members of the National Assembly, an election is supposed to be organized immediately to replace those members. And their mandate expired on the 30th of March. Elections were supposed to be held. They didn't hold those elections. They decided to carry out another extension, which is illegal. and violates the constitution. So that's the first problem. Now, the second problem is that this bill violates the very principles of democracy, which Article 64 of the Constitution prohibits any amendment.
Yes, Mr. Akwet, could this position also serve as a platform for power sharing amongst regions? You are the one who raised the issue of the Senate going to the Senate is gone to the north. Yes, and then the president of the National Assembly is now in the West region, and many persons think that the vice presidential position should go to an Anglophone.
My dear Mr. The issue is not where it goes to. That is not our problem here. Our problem is not where it goes to. Our problem is, does it have use?
We are talking about a power sharing arrangement here, where the president is from this area, the National Assembly president is. It has, yeah. Remember the director of cabinet of the National Assembly. Remember, he once had a gathering in the north and said he was recruiting, taking the booties. Yeah. And you have also read about the problems that have come after he was taken out. Those advantages. So it is a power sharing.
How, even if we call it power sharing, how would that be possible when the Prime Minister is already an Anglophone? Because they are considering us as if we are a village. Because they say Anglophone is like we are a tribe.
They don't even say Anglophone, they say Bamenda.
So how does it become power sharing? Because we already have an Anglophone in the person of the Prime Minister.
Yeah, the Prime Minister. We are talking about. You guys are complaining. We are talking about the Vice Presidency, the direct assistant of the President of the Republic.
Like the replacement.
At this instant, Mr. Lee, your question is good, it's technical, because we cannot use the same mouth to blow to air. Cold and hot. What we are saying is that even if there has to be the post of the vice president, the first thing they should have done was to eliminate the post of the office of the Prime Minister. Create now the Vice Minister. If they had any intention of keeping the Anglophones there, keeping those two offices. So the Prime Minister now shifts to which position?
No, he still has his position as head of the government.
Yes, he as head of government number in terms of national protocol. Where will the Prime Minister go to? Because now he will be the president.
Yeah, but what tells you that
the vice president is the president?
That is why we have the vice president. That is where I'm going. That's where I'm going to. The problem is, you guys give the impression that that position carries no power. But you are also But you are also raising the issue of the possibility of making the son the president, which means that the son is going to take over. Why don't you believe that if an Anglophone takes that power, he possibly could be the next president of the Republic? Because the Constitution stipulates that in case of this, he runs the mandate through. Yeah.
We are not here to defend Anglophone or Francophone. We're not defending linguistics here. We are defending the Constitution, and we are defending what is a reform. When you want to reform something, what does that mean? It means that either there are some exigencies or there is a request, and that it is so necessary and so relevant in the circumstances. And that is how I am looking at it, and I think that is how me and my colleague are looking at it. In the circumstances, is it necessary? Is that an exigence? Do we actually need it? Because other people have been occupying or have been running that errand. So is President Biya telling us that for all his errand boys, he does not trust one enough?
Does he even know what is happening?
No, that would.
He does not trust one enough to pilot the affairs. But the Prime Minister has been doing a good job. I think that the Prime Minister has been doing a good job.
A good job?
The Minister of Territorial Administration has been doing a good job.
A good job?
Yes, he has been doing a good job to keep the peace. If he didn't act the way he acted in October, Cameroon would have been in serious chaos by now. We don't want what is happening in the north and the southwest to reoccur. Is he saying that amongst them, he does not have a trusted person? Because that goes now with the problem that succession was already supposed to be built since. It should not come like something all of a sudden. Nobody knows when he is going to leave the scene. Nobody knows when he is going to die. So by the time you are preparing, God may call you home this night, and then the post of that prime minister, of the vice president, you have not appointed. Are you saying that Cameroon is going to fall in a shambles? So why didn't they already put those possibilities or those institutions prepare long enough, and then let them now, in the absence now, then go for their elections, and then whoever wins, so that the opposition, so that it will be a blend, so that we can manage to call it democracy, even though they have already nurture and mature the coup d'etat that have just taken place. He had all the possibilities of doing that. Do we need it? Linguistic is not the matter. Northwest, Southwest is not the issue here. That is not what an average Cameroonian like me and you are lawyers. How does that post help us? We deal directly with the people. How does it help us? So you are not reforming something that's not coming to build anything. If it is not there, nothing is going to fall. The country will continue. Now, presidents that die in plane crash, their countries do survive.
Barrister, this is what you think. Can we also conclude that our MPs think very different from you?
Our MPs?
Yes. They are the ones who voted.
Of course. What do you expect a house that is predominantly the ruling party to do? How many of them cried foul in that, both the upper house and the lower house? I heard only of R. Rene Zengeli. Then the other parties, they cried foul. Then I am being so annoyed with Mr. Joshua Osei. He says it's undemocratic. Whether it's undemocratic or democratic, do we need it? That is the question. Do we really need it? Who is, because if you want to actually want to check who could be the vice president of Cameroon, when you go to the polls, after the polls, who is the second? The second person means that is the popular choice of the people.
Normally.
Yes. The second means that's the popular choice of the people. Why can't it just happen in that manner and let it just be like that? Because if the president, in case of vacancy, it is 90 days, right? I don't read me down your constitution.
20
because today you read, today is amended, so I will not be cramming, I will not spend my time cramming the
20
constitution.
to 120 days.
2 years, 90 to 120 days. That is within 3 and 4 months. You have the new president. Within 1 and 4 months, you and me will not die because we don't have the head of state is not there, or because the vice minister is not there. Nobody is going to die. On the contrary, we're going to die that they leave social security, and men are raping children because we lack social security and social protection for children.
Exactly.
Bandits entered your house in the form of NGO workers, harass you with gun because we don't have cameras that monitor people. Bad roads every day. That is what me and you need. We don't need. That is what will kill us. It is not the vacancy or void of the post of the vice president. It's not going to kill anybody. Bring health reforms. Women are delivering in huts. Children are studying under trees. They are still studying educational reforms. They are still reading Napoleon and who discovered what? They see to India.
Fishing in Norway.
Fishing in Norway.
I don't know how that.
Shipbuilding in Japan. Mono manufacturing in Detroit.
Okay. Now, this position is, how might this affect the balance of power between the president, the prime minister, and other key government officials? Because we noticed, almost everybody noticed this conflict of powers between the prime ministry and the secretary general at the presidency, where this is organized at the prime ministry, and others come that, okay, it is now going to be managed by the secretary general. Yes. How is this going to reshape this power balance?
Well, I think it will have no impact.
Okay.
I think it will have no impact. As I earlier on said, the vice president is just there to replace the president. So, of course, I think that the CPDM party, what they are struggling to do now is to keep unity, because there have been so many groups in the CPDM party, and that is the reason why at the end of the day they were forced to push Biya forward, because they were not able to agree on someone they could endorse to stand for them in the presidential elections, knowing fully well that if they had to endorse any other person, it would be very difficult for that person to win the elections, and they themselves, amongst themselves, they don't agree on that person whom they are supposed to put forward. So of course, I think that now there has been some sort of stability. You have ministers of state, you have ordinary ministers, and I think everybody knows his or her role, because in their mind is that divided we fall, united we stand. So what they are struggling to do now is that they want to conserve the system, the ecosystem in which, the political ecosystem in which they have now, and give themselves till 2032, so that during that period they will have certainly more time to reorganize the party, to reorganize leadership amongst them. So certainly I'm very sure that the vice presidency would have no impact on the way things are being done. On the contrary, I know that there are certain things we are going to realize. We are going to realize that the powers of the vice president will be exhaustive. He will have no limit. They will state a few things in the constitution, but at the end of the day, he will be doing everything, and nobody will be able to stop him because he is already there. And that is where he will use that as an opportunity to actually have a grip on power, control everything, put in place his own machinery, so that in 2032 he will be able to easily win the elections and continue with the same system that actually exists today. So we know that power in Cameroon, since it has gone down to those the Fang tribe, center, south, and east, all they want is to conserve power. They have enjoyed power so much that they don't want power to leave the center. And of course, since they don't want power to leave the center, they will prefer, and it will be easier for them to pay an allegiance to the vice president, who they will certainly put somebody who everybody unanimously agree. And I think that that will probably be the son of the president of the republic, as it has been in other Central African states, like what happened in Chad, like what happened in Gabon or Ali Bongo, like what is happening now in Equatorial Guinea. So of course, these are things that are being known, and that is why I'm calling on Cameroonians that this bill which has been passed is an illegal bill. We are not accepting any post of the vice presidency, because, as I earlier on said, the mandate of the members of the National Assembly is illegal, and so is that bill.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. My opinion on this issue of the vice president. If the vice president will be appointed, then we don't need any. If it will be elected, then we need one. Francis is watching from Limbe. Mr. Leo, good evening to you and the panel. The damage has been done. If Cameroon is actually too Anglophone and Francophone, then the post of vice president must go to an Anglophone. Anything short of that will imply that Anglophones don't have a place in Cameroon. How could this new post improve service delivery and development in Cameroon, especially in marginalized regions? You still believe nothing. Yeah, but if you say nothing, what then are we debating about? Because whether you like it or not, there's going to be a vice president already voted.
We are not sure. We are not yet sure. He has not been appointed.
There's going to be one, yeah.
Okay, whether it is going to help
it came from the presidency, right?
Yeah, but
he sent it to.
They are saying we are contesting that particular bill. We are not accepting the post of any vice president in this country.
Yeah, but the MPs.
That is my opinion.
I'm sure you are the MP from
of an appointed MP.
Yeah.
Vice.
No, I'm sure
yes.
the MP from your constituency is representing you in Yaoundé, and
no, as we earlier on said, according to Article 15, they don't represent their people any longer, because we have clearly seen that they are representing the interests, their own interests, and the interests of an individual or of a particular group of people. So it's.
You take our question again. How is it going?
Yes, I was talking about whether it was going to help, especially for the marginalized population. It's true that you see no possibility of it changing anything. That some persons are saying, because we saw some Anglophones, whether likely or not, Bobala came out insisting that, okay, if this bill has to be voted for, it has, unfortunately, it's already been voted, they should add a clause that states very clearly that there's going to be power sharing, Francophone, Anglophone. And I'm sure the SDF also submitted a bill in that direction, and many others came up with this. And when you read the Guardian Post today, the Guardian Post, have you read it?
No, I
Yes,
didn't.
it says that Anglophones cheated again, and lots of talks are going on in that direction. They are pointing to the fact that if something fair should be done, then let us not see a continuation. Because if you say the president is Francophone, the vice president is Francophone, the Senate president is Francophone, the president of the National Assembly is Francophone, Economic and Social Council, who just died, he was a Francophone.
They were born on Anglophone this time with the Prime Minister. Mr. Leo, the view of the common man was never taken into consideration. I don't want you to begin to tell me that they have representatives whose mandate have expired, representatives that did not even go back to.
Don't you have an MP in your locality?
His mandate has expired now, so what do you want me to say? If he is there illegally as a lawyer, when something is illegal, it is illegal. There is no way you can start to fix an illegality is to take it away. Period. That's what, but I'm saying that the view of the common man was not taken into consideration when the bill was being sent to Parliament. That is why bills like that of that nomenclature, creating that office, supposed to go by way of a referendum. Because referendum, you are directly in contact with the people, explaining to them how let them know how it is going to help them in the first place. So if they sit in their own day, how many MPs of the Northwest and Southwest do go to their constituency? Ask them the last time they went to their constituency, other than in October when they were going to campaign. They stay in a Yaba hotel and in all their hotels. And then they voted in the ballot box. In the ballot box is right there. But the ballot box, you had to go to Widikum or you had to go to Mwa. And so on. How many of them have been with their people, Philly? Because if they were doing, perhaps, if a CPDM MP holds that kind of a rally to explain to the people that you people heard the president during his inaugural speech said he was going to change the constitution, he was going to do some amendments in the constitution, or we are speculating that the post of the vice president will be created. What is your opinion? That one will go to all the newspapers, all the radios and TV stations. It will be broadcasted. In fact, they may even send it to BBC and CNN. But did you see any of them doing that? It is not going to add anything. I'm just citing the situation of the road. We are late. We started this program today late because the situation of the road was so bad that traffic was the whole bridge of 1 point. That was the kilometer of that bridge.
1.1.
Like right up to Bonasama. Before you could get to Sake, it took me 2 hours to get here. A journey of 30 minutes maximum. So what is the common man view? The common man does not even know what is happening in Cameroon. The common man does not know what is happening in their country. Yet they will just get there one day and then one new name again will add. They say the vice president, then they will start to be confused, like they say vice minister or vice whatever.
Now, are Cameroonians also very skeptical because other created positions and institutions have actually not caused any change. I will take, for example, the creation of the institution called the Senate. It's been existing for so many years, very little has been done. The Constitutional Council came, and in the Northwest and Southwest, we have the creation of the regional assemblies, as well as the House of Chiefs. Is that not also one of the reasons why people see very little impact that may come from this newly created post?
Of course. What has the House of Chiefs? What problem has he solved? What has the office of the Ombudsman, the regional conciliator, what has he done? That when it was not there, that particular project or that particular aim could not have been achieved. What has special status? What has he done? What has bilingualism changed? Because now we have more hate speech than ever. What has CONAC done? They have no force of prosecution. What have the Senate done? Because without the Senate, the National Assembly was functioning. What has the Constitutional Council done that the Supreme Court did not do? They were handling the constitutionality of laws and election disputes and proclaiming results. All those institutions, as my brother who wants to become the president, I have no political ambition. My own is to defend the common man in the street. I am just a street fighter fighting for the rights of Cameroonians and trying to sensitize them on the things that are happening so that they should take that. Either they focus on their government or they focus on themselves. Let our president attempt it. Tell us whether all of those, if he become president today, all of those houses, what are they doing there? Those loud names. Is it not wasting Cameroonians' money? Instead of telling Cameroonians to pay tax for phone that somebody imported and then I bought, you take money, you subsidize it, or you want to create house of chief for them to be fighting power. I am supposed to be the president.
With a budget.
With budget, with cars, with infrastructures. You give special status. What is that special status all about? What special thing has it done? Because me, I'm coming from the Northwest. I don't know how special I am with the special status that has been given to us. You coming from the Southwest. So tell me how special we are. Because they still treat us. I was speaking English to one policeman the other day, and he was like, what? Kwa, kwa, kwa. I said, I want to cross to the other side. And he was kwa, kwa, kwa. So what has special status? Help me, because speaking English should have thought I'm coming from a special status region. Yes, and should have been treating me specially. So what has it saved?
Yes, but now
loud sounding nothing institutions, nomenclatures,
yeah, but isn't
and offices.
Isn't it also a pointer to the fact that things may actually want to get done positively, starting with the changes we observed at the helm of both the Senate and National Assembly? These guys have been there forever, and they have been taken out. Now the president says, I want to get into action. I have seen lots of fights between this institution and the other. I've removed these guys. I want action guys at the National Assembly and Senate. I also want somebody who would directly be representing me and not necessarily people getting doubtful high instructions. Because when you listen to Samuel Eto'o, when he had this problem with these other guys, and somebody says, we are coming with high instructions, and Samuel Eto'o openly says, high instructions from who? Is this not also the president wanting to say, I have my direct representative?
Well, you know, the goal of the creation of the vice presidency is aimed at political continuity, is aimed at political conservation. And what are they trying to conserve? What are they trying to ensure its continuity? It's the power which they have now. So the goal is not to see if it's going to improve something. It is to keep them in power so that they will keep on mismanaging the resources of this country and keep on without accountability and keep the people under bondage. That is why they are there. Look at the way they are lavishing money. Look at the way they spend their time borrowing money, and we don't even know what that money is being used for. Look at the way they embezzle money left and right. Look at the luxurious type of lives they live. They are riding Land Cruiser Prados, 120 million. They have mansions left and right. So that is what they are struggling to conserve. You know, the system has been in place for so long, and people have been so comfortable with everything, the advantages that they have been gaining from the system, that they are not ready to part away from it. So the goal is to conserve the same system. And that's why I'm saying that we cannot accept the post of the vice presidency, because the goal is to conserve what they have. Now, you earlier on said that there were changes at the upper chamber and also at the lower chamber, and you said, okay, the regime is looking for more vibrant people and people of actions. But now we are understanding the role of these people, because I can assure you that if Kavayege was still at the National Assembly, might be this bill would have not been passed, because we have seen him on several occasions become very incoherent. So probably might be during the session, he might have had those minutes of incoherence that would have helped us not have this type of bill. So what did they do? They looked for a young, vibrant person. Let me not say young, but 65 at least. Who reasons normally, and who is from the West Province. Now we must know that when it concerns politics in Cameroon, the majority of Cameroonian political activists come from the West regions, be it influencers that talk a lot about politics. They come from this particular region. Now, I was shocked that the same people who have been criticizing this regime day and night suddenly became quiet.
They have not attacked the newly...
They did not attack him. They instead attacked Joshua Osi, who was celebrating his appointment. And I was like, but I don't understand this.
And Joshua Osi, who was against what is happening.
Yes, well, against what is happening. Yes. And I was like, but I don't understand these people. You are attacking Joshua Osi, but you are not seeing your brother from the same region who is being used as a puppet to keep us in the same system which we have today. And now we are seeing what he's doing. We are seeing his actions. His actions are the worst that any president of the National Assembly has ever undertaken.
No, he just took office.
I will say that.
He just took office.
No, you know,
why not give him?
we rate.
Yeah, why not give him time?
Leadership for 100 days.
Yeah, until you compare.
He took power, and the first thing, the next day is introducing a bill to create a vice presidency that can keep us again in the same system for 40 years. Mr. Leo will all be dead.
Yeah, but the bill,
if we can be suffering like this bill, all the issues we have today.
But this bill came from the presidency and not from him.
No, it's orchestrated, and that's why I said it's a puppet. He has accepted to play the role. They have given him a mission. This is what you have to do. And they are using him as an instrument to be able to achieve their goal. And for him, particularly from the West region, to accept that type of role is treason for me. It's treason for me.
For you, but not for...
Yes,
not for his party.
Not for his party, and maybe from people from his region, who are celebrating now. But I can assure you that in some years to come, if the change we are expecting, if it doesn't come, these same people will lament.
They should rather be crying because they had the upper house. Now they have been given the lower house.
No,
is that something that they should celebrate?
You know that the lower house is, in a way, in quotes,
the lower house is more powerful. Yeah,
it's more powerful. In quotes, it's more powerful.
Yeah, I'm sure the advantages and everything, because when we saw how the guys in the north were agitating on that position, we really did not have that same feeling with the Senate president, as far as advantages are concerned. Yes, but a normal Cameroonian would want something very, very, very impactful from this newly created position. You guys, from what I gather, is that it is only going to add to the burden, the financial burden of the state. It has happened. It has been voted. It's true you say it's not going to happen, but it's going to happen. What is the reading you have of the creation of this position? Because now it only requires the president of the republic to promulgate it. Yes, to promulgate. Yes, to promulgate it first. Since it came from him, I'm not sure he's going to stop to taking it to.
We hope there will be a miracle.
But my question is, what is the reading you have of political parties' reaction to this, especially the civil society?
I think that the civil society did. We formed the civil society. We are already agitating. Yes, it doesn't speak well to us. How is that office going to be funded? It is the taxpayer. Who are the taxpayers? You and me. From what income? Income which we don't have. So they impoverish us the more to get some people enriched in an office of nonsense that does not add value to the common man. Because what kind of government are we even talking about? A government, what is the primary role of the government? Protect its citizens and their properties. Provide them with basic amenities and necessities, and give them a serene environment to live. In an age where we are still struggling with garbage disposal and management, in 2026, Cameroon is still talking about garbage disposal and management. In 2026, Cameroon is still talking about emergence. A country has not emerged to reach the level, because those were those rubbish institutions that were created. We have not attained that height to have the Senate. We don't have governance problem. A country of 30 million, that is what we are just saying. Because by the readings of the last census to this one, we are just, it's just a speculation. We don't have the population that we need to have an upper house and a lower house, the vice president, the prime minister. Do we really need it? And then with that other organ called Economic and Social Council that they have not, which economic reform or social reform have they ever produced? And their members of their members have died, which means that it's a dead house. The president died, members died. I can remember my proprietor, Honorable Samufo, died in 1995. He has never been replaced. Nobody, everybody who died have never been replaced. What are those institutions doing?
30 years.
32 years, 1995. What are those institutions serving? So what do you want me to talk about that kind of an institution, Mr. Liu? What is it coming to serve? It is just a political, it's a hijack to conserve the system. A system that we have been trying. Because if it is a system that we were enjoying, should we have been complaining? Let them do what we want. After all, we are enjoying the basics. Like I was saying, I will quote Rwanda because this is an emergent country. In the 1960s, when the African countries were having independence, was there Rwanda? Was that not what they call? Was it Saudi Rhodesia or what they call it? They go there today. You will not hear. You tell them that electricity. In fact, you are like a zinc graph. Telling them something that is so strange, because they will not even understand how electricals for the past how many years. Water, talk about waste and so on. They will not, and then we are talking about internet is the cheapest facility that those people have. A bike man hotspots you when you climb on a bike in Rwanda. A bike man hotspots you. Cameroon, Douala Airport, I went to pick up my friend yesterday from London. The children were sweating, and the child daughter who came there to Cameroon for her first time was like, this place is not, everybody is smelly. Why is there not electronic leave? Yeah. The child was just complaining and just frowning, and people will not eat that. How many days are we staying here? She intends to go back to London. What kind of country is this? And then we are creating the post of the Prime Minister. Let them start by fixing their airports to fit international standards.
Exactly.
Instead of creating a wasteful office.
Now, could this reform influence upcoming elections or succession planning in Cameroon?
Well, in a way, it might influence it positively and maybe negatively. When we look at what is going on now, the plan B, of course, because the plan A is that we are not accepting this post. But the plan B, of course, is that we can still amend this constitution with a legitimate, newly elected members of the National Assembly.
Okay.
So with the municipal and legislative elections that are coming up soon, probably when their illegal mandate expires in December, we will probably have newly elected members of the National Assembly probably between January 2027 and maybe April 2027. So we have the possibility to elect new members of the National Assembly. And of course, if we're able to elect those new members of the National Assembly, we can still initiate now another amendment of this constitution, this illegal amendment which was being carried out. Because as I earlier on stated, according to Article 63, one of the ways in which an amendment of the constitution can be initiated is if it is being initiated by one of the members and it obtains a third of the vote. So if we have majority, if the opposition, if the people really stand against this regime and that they are able to vote in majority opposition, that will have as one of their goals, one of their projects, to actually reinstate constitutional principles, then of course we can see this vice presidency being annulled in 2027. So that's one of the ways in which it can impact the upcoming municipal and legislative elections. Now, looking at the presidential elections, well, the impact might be different, because you know the vice president, if he is being appointed and he is on seat, he will begin to create his own network. You know how things work. It's rather unfortunate that we are in a country where the legislative power has taken hostage all the other powers, like the legislative and the judiciary. And of course, we know that all institutions that are being put in place in Cameroon are being controlled and directed by the same executive power. Even the electorate which is organizing elections, we can't even trust that institution, because the same members or the same staff of that particular institution that organize elections are being appointed by the same executive power. So you see that electoral fairness cannot really be achieved. And that is the reason why, if a vice president is being put in place, he's going to create his own network and make sure that the network which he has put in place will permit him to be able to stand for the next presidential elections and obviously winning. So we have as objective to be able to make all of these processes very difficult for the regime, and that is why I'm calling on the people of Cameroon that they shouldn't stay quiet. I think that the noise that is being made on social media, the advocacy left and right, and the sensitization will have a great role to play to call upon the youth to get more engaged in politics, to get registered on the electoral list, because every Cameroonian should know that as of 20 years of age, you can get registered on the electoral list, and registrations are going on actually, because they take place from the 1st of January to the 31st of August. So young Cameroonians should get engaged. We have the possibility to revert everything that is going on now, and it's our role to bring the change, because we are the generation of change.
Generation of change. Now, we're talking about future elections. How do you see things turn out in 2032? Is this another way of preparing the candidates, a possible candidate for the party in power for 2032?
My colleague on the other side have said it all. Yes. So nothing is going to change if that position is maintained. If that bill, it has been voted, if it is passed into law, because now it is like in the incubator. When it is passed into law, the scenario of, in fact, they are preempting 2032, which will be another disaster. Because if you still have the same people with the same mindset, who have tested power and they are so drunk so that they cannot live or do without it. When Paul Biya came to power in 1982, he preached, he presented the doctrine of rigor and moralization. He preached against nepotism and tribalism. But that is what is ruling his government now. Is tribalism, nepotism, and the other one that I don't want to mention. Are you a member?
Say that a new certificate.
That is the three. I can call them organs, because like they are like the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative that is ruling Cameroon at this time. And then we will, in fact, I don't know. When I did my TikTok, I said, I don't know, are we living or are we existing? Are Cameroonians living or are we just existing? What did we do to merit what we are going through? What crime do we commit to become Cameroonians that we are deserving this punishment? Because what's the difference between those of us and those of people in Kundenge? At least those in Kundenge and you, they don't pay rent. Me and you, we pay rents. Because we are going through the same sufferings. They give them food from our tax money, but me and you have to faint to have food. Yet, if it's not even food coming, what did Cameroonians do that? A system will come and institute itself. And they don't have pity on their own cities, the same citizens. Cameroon, that's already the people that they should not talk anywhere in the world.
They may be seeing what you don't see. Let me just read from the minister delegate at the Ministry of Justice. You are Minister Mumu Chandedieu. He just tweeted, say, on Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m., the Minister of State, Minister of Justice, and Keeper of the Seals, assisted by his key collaborators and the Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of relations with the assemblies, appeared before the Senate's Constitutional Affairs, Laws, and Human Rights Committee to defend a bill amending the Constitution, the Constitutional Council, in order to align with Cameroon's new constitution. So this defense has been done, and I'm sure from here it moves to the next stage, which will likely be the presidency. So that is what happened today. The Minister of Justice today defended the rationale for the constitution to be amended. But could this reform influence, does this bill risk deepening the regional or ethnic tensions, or could it promote inclusivity?
I think it will promote division, because everybody is at the helm of speculation.
Everybody is expecting to be given that position.
They are expecting. Ask those people who are doing analysis during the week. I don't want to call some of their names. They are waiting. And then you see people, oh, it's supposed to go to the northwest. Oh, then the Manyuma says, no, at this time it is our turn. And then the people of the Middle Belt, like, this post cannot be given to the Anglophones. The old Bambika have taken the one. It remains with them. You don't see, it is already creating a rift already. Because people are putting their personal interests at stake. And then people, those who are speculating, oh, if it is this person, who is my person? Nepotism is already in. Okay, then I will support it, then that is fine. Okay, if it is coming from the northwest, oh, then we northwesterners will say, okay, yes, oh, it's coming from the northwest. Oh, do we know him? We try to claim. That is tribalism. He doesn't need to come from my tribe. Suffice that it is coming from the northwest. I stand now to feel important and makes me feel different and think that I need to get favors from him. At that time, he is not dealing with Cameroonians. He is dealing with his people. So those are the issues, the worrying issues that bill is going to create. And the worst thing is that, Mr. Liu, none of these people are going there to serve. They are going to work on red carpets. They are going for the facility. They are going for the honor. That when they come and visit, they will sit there, and then me and you will be under the
Okay, so many persons have written to us this evening. Let me take some of their messages. Barrister Asong has come up with a good idea of possible reversal of the whole system come 2027, with it come with a new electoral code, because these are special elections rigors. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Kum, and good evening to all your panelists. How on earth a bill is voted in the parliament to create the position of vice president, and finally he is being appointed? Why bringing to the parliament? He should have just appointed and the story ends. Okay. Hello, good evening, Mr. Leo. It's really sad for the English-speaking Cameroonians. Our parliamentarians are not helping the population. There were just two things here to be done. If a francophone becomes a president, Anglophone becomes the VP. But on a serious note, the English-speaking Cameroonians haven't considered. That's my humble opinion, sir. I'm texting from Boya. This one says, imagine he just appointed the vice president without any constitutional change. No. Good evening, Mr. Leo. That bill has been presented and it shall be put into law. Those protesting are really ignorant about the politicking of this country. Instead of them to object to the potential absolute power that the vice president may have, they are making unnecessary noise. The position is strategic and not in the constitution. It is therefore prudent for the president to propose a constitutional amendment before he can appoint. He has his political agenda to fulfill. Imagine he just appointed the vice president without any constitutional change. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The post is no history to Cameroonians. The only thing that Cameroonians will celebrate, even fools, children, drunkards, and many members of the ruling party together with the opposition, is when the president will leave power. Good evening to you in the studio, Mr. Fundu Ignatius Tebek, writing there from somewhere here in Douala. Good evening to you, Mr. Ignatius. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your panel and respect the panelists. It is really funny to see the president of the National Assembly being replaced cost of maybe old age while his boss is older than him. All MPs in Cameroon are acting illegally because their mandates expired already. The vice president's post is not our main priority for now. Let's focus on issues affecting the country today rather than blindfolding the people. Ngam Nestor, writing from Yaoundé. Yes, but can we also say that at this juncture that we have this position, we're going to be having the next new government shake-up? A new government? After elections, after the president?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I don't think so. Why? Because you have to know that those who are being appointed, I think the last reshuffle was being done in 2020 or 18, I think something like 2018. These people have been extremely loyal. I've never seen this type of loyalty in my life. You know, the only president that fell out was Chiroma, because he thought that, okay, he's going to maybe take an advantage. And I still believe that this regime was using him to distract many. That is what I believe, because he has been serving Biya for over 3 decades. And I don't think that from overnight he will just be an enemy to Biya. So when you look at the way things are going on, I can assure you that those who are there now are going to they'll still be there. I think they have had issues. They have had issues with reshuffling and changing those who are there, because I can assure you, when I look at all the ministers we have now, with the things that they have been doing in the past years, they have shown loyalty to Biya. I think the reshuffle, ministerial reshuffle, might only be done if the vice president, after 1 or 2 years, realizes that he needs to bring in his own people. Because as I earlier on said, the vice president will start appointing. In fact, any changes that takes place will be done by the vice president in a way. We will certainly be using the signature of the president, because I think that is what is going to happen.
What happened to Honorable Ngongo, the almighty Ngongo?
Well, he's one of those who have been proposed,
okay,
and people suspect that he might be appointed as a vice president. But anyway, we are not accepting the post, and in whatever case scenario, we have to put an end to.
Should we be expecting a new government after this law is promulgated by the President of the Republic? We're going to see the appointment of a vice president in Cameroon, followed by other government ministers.
Normally, when the president takes over a new mandate, he is supposed to reshuffle the cabinet to fit, because it is a new era. It is not a continuity. That is supposed to have been done. But for strategic reasons and for strategic days, like the day that the bill was sent to the bill of the VP was sent to Parliament, he will not do that shake-off. It is normally supposed to be done. Because some ministers, I don't even know. Some ministries, we don't even know why they are existing. Some ministers, we don't even know what they are doing. So they need to shake some of them. But perhaps because of loyalty. Because if you look at the way the government is being, the Biya regime reshuffles its cabinet, they are not bringing new blood. These are just people that they just take you. They take you from agriculture. They send you to mines and energy. they take you from communications, they put you to territorial administration or vice versa. They just do swapping. They go to the regions, they take you from the north, they put you in the south and in the west. And you see, just maintaining the same people, with the same portfolio, but in different offices or in different places. But we expect that some those who have due retirement, those who are not longer functional, because tell me what innovation, because for the past years, the Ministry of Justice, where we belong, tell me one new innovation that has been done. Cameroon does not have archives. It's the only country that does not have archives of its judicial processes or its judicial yes, of its judicial processes. We don't have an archive. Yeah. We don't have a system where you can go. But that position is there and there is an appointee there. But for the minister have not signed and meeting that person to function in that office. So a person is in that office, no definition, and he is building and presenting. Why? Because his knowledge is absolute or it's obsolete. It is not his fault, it's just the advent of time. Now we are talking in digital age. Run from digital to AI. What are the innovations? What are these? Those are the things that you have to do and upgrade it. And that is why Cameroon cannot develop. There is a level to which we cannot proceed because the minds that we have do not think outside that spectrum. It doesn't think outside that. So there is there's a need for a reshufflement and to back his promise. He was going to introduce the youths
women
like youths like us and women like me, yes, into the system. We are coming with ideas. We are not money mongers. Lawyers, we are not money mongers. We are there to fix things. Let him fulfill that promise by reshuffling the cabinet. Even though some of those old wigs, because old wigs give wisdom, they are still supposed to be in some technical key positions to maintain the status quo of the nation, to keep the peace and to keep the population together, but without rubbishing them like they are rubbishing them now. They have to build the youth of tomorrow, because in 10 years, most of them, they'll be going. In fact, we'll have, when maybe we do mass there.
Barrister Quinn, you say there is no need for a vice president today. Parliament has voted in favor of the creation of that position, 200 votes and 24 against. The minister, your minister of justice, is today defending the bill in front of the Senate Constitutional Committee, which means that everything is on a trajectory for it to become a law. Though you are not there, you do not expect much. Who or what type of person would you advise to be appointed a vice president of Cameroon?
A younger person.
Okay.
A younger person who has lived 2 ages, who have gone through poverty like a normal Cameroonian, who have gone through chômage, who knows what it means to leave the university and you don't have a job, and you struggle and struggle, and then you start maybe like an errand boy, you climb because you can understand when the other people are crying. But not for these other people who were there in the days of Ahijo. They are there in Pobi. What do they know? That is why the head of state, the things he does not understand, because he has never suffered in his entire life. Oh God, why I ask God at time, why do you discriminate? President Biya has never suffered his entire life. So that is why when you are crying, he does not even understand. The day he is going to visit a region, they make sure that they put everything in order. And what he comes and sees is what he sees. And that is what he believes, that his country is functioning. The vice president should be a person who is pro the people, closer to the people. Not distant like President Biya. President Biya is so distant. I'm sure that as if you remove President Biya and put inside Yaoundé, he will not know whether he's going up or he's going down. In fact, he will not even know the route to the presidency. I am sure. Because he does not know his country, does not know his town. Like other presidents, that Magufuli will just appear And then maybe he's telling the governor that on the I am around, or you just say police vote. It's like the president is coming, then the governor start to panic that the president is coming. Unannounced. Go closer to the people. Kagame plays tennis and do sports with his people. When I went there, they told me you can see him here. If you are lucky, you will see him. And I was asking, can I greet him? There's no problem. If you just need to talk with his protocol, you can have a chat with him. It will be very short. You come closer to the people. He goes and teach them how to keep your town clean. That is going down to the people. But for President Biya, for now, for his age, we won't with respect so much. I wish I would attain his age and even above. We don't expect him. He has lost the time to get in touch with his people. So the next vice president, since it has already been, we are just waiting for the day, should be that person who is pro the people and not sitting in an office and is mindful most about protocol. No, he should be a dynamic, the most dynamic Cameroonian. That is not about protocol, it's about service.
Would you advise that he be taken from the civil society, not amongst
politicians? Yes.
Okay.
Among civil society, not among politicians. Even if it is a politician, it should be a person of integrity. We still have politicians who have a bit of integrity. And we have those ones who are hungry. Because when you see bees like this, it has like majority of those are people who are hungry. Whether without them being parliament, if they leave parliament today, they will not be able to even pay taxi. Yes, they have been used to a wolf Germany in such a way that they don't have a life of their own. A person who is also not hungry. He has tasted hunger, but at this point in time, he is not hungry, and he is not going there for power. He's going there for service. Those people. He's
going there for service. Yes. Who do you expect to be the next vice president?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that
you don't.
In my mind, I don't even conceive.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. What I
we don't know what will happen in the next days. We can't tell the future. But I strongly believe that we shall have a miracle.
Okay.
And I'm hoping for a miracle. Yesterday we had Easter, and it was the resurrection of Christ.
Mr. That's why you should have been saying it should be you, because you are attempting.
No. I won't accept the post of vice presidency. I won't accept it. I won't accept it because you can't have change with the same people who are leading this country now.
Exactly.
If you want true change, then you need fresh wine,
and
fresh people, new people that will come together and build a new nation. My political ideology is communism. What we are practicing now is tribalism, is nepotism, is capitalism, all those things mixed together, which only encourages leaders to think of their own interests and not about the interests of the people. So as I earlier on said, I think somebody mentioned it somewhere, and I've been moving around today in offices, be it at the police stations, be it in courts, be it anywhere I go to, and people are saying, have they not proposed you to be the vice president? I said, no, I won't even accept it because I know what I'm looking for. If I'd accepted offers before, I would have probably been a candidate. But for me, I've always believed that good things don't come very easily. You have to work hard for it. And as the Bible says, that wide is the way that leads to destruction, but tortures and difficulty is the way that leads to salvation and success. So that's what I believe in. I believe in the fact that if things are supposed to be done, they are supposed to be done in the right way. We have an illegal National Assembly that has adopted an illegal bill. Then I should be the one to come and incarnate the illegality of the bill? No. I respect the rule of law. I am a lawyer, thank God, that permits me to understand that what matters most in a society is that there should be rules and regulations that govern the people, and that those things should be respected. And that is what the regime today has been violating. And for over decades, they have been violating laws, and today they have attained their maximum in orchestrating all the political disaster which we have today, and orchestrating what we call a constitutional coup. So, of course, I don't think that is going to help us, but I can only say that there are people that I know that will possibly be the vice president if we don't take the necessary action to prevent that from happening.
Okay, we want to thank you, Barrister, for coming.
It was my pleasure. I hope our viewers they enjoyed the session. We'll be coming up with more, and like my colleague on the other side said, youth, the future belongs to you people. Registrations are currently going on. Go and register, get your voter's card to effect the change that we want. Believe the fact that one day change will come through the ballot box.
Okay, thank you too for coming, Dr. Barrister.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Kum, and thank you to our viewers. Please, may you get interested in politics, sensitize one another, and let's stand against this particular bill that has been adopted. We still have a way out, and I think that if we put the necessary pressure, we talk about these things even to the Pope, because the Pope cannot be visiting a country that the regime has just organized a constitutional coup or is organizing an ongoing legislative coup. So we are saying no to that. We will tell the Pope that that is what is happening, and that if he's coming to Cameroon, he should be coming to remind the government and the regime that the sufferings that the people of Cameroon are going through have reached the ears of God, and that they should change their ways and hand over power to someone who will lead this country in truth and into prosperity. And I think that the vacancy of the President of the Republic should be raised, and that election should be organized by the President of the Senate within 20 to 120 days.
No, the vacancy has to be established by constituted our body, following, respecting our constitution. Thank you very much, Dr. Barrister Michael Asson Akumba, who was a presidential aspirant for the 2025 presidential elections. We hope that you are going to come back in 2032 to challenge... before. Yes, we want to also thank you all for watching this edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime TV. Thank you to you, Eli and Teta, for production. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.